I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another request for Alex. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, you can request it either by sending it directly to my PayPal or joining me on my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries, but so, thank you. Now, the other film you wanted me to talk about is The Tax Collector, which I didn't know what this was, but it's a new David Ayer film. This guy who did Street Teens and The Watch, which I enjoy. But then he also did Sabotage and Suicide Squad, which I wasn't much a fan of. Then he did Bright. I enjoyed Bright quite a bit. Did Fury, which I was okay with. So anytime I praise him, then you get a film like this. And this film is a direct-to-video looking piece of shit. This movie was garbage. Now, the poster is cool. I'll say that. I'm looking at the poster right now. It looks pretty decent. You got a skull. You got our two characters with machine guns that they never use in the movie. Our two characters, Bobby Soto and Shia LaBeouf. And then they got like M16s or I think they're M16s. They never use that in the movie. Shia LaBeouf barely has shit to do in the film. And I like the guy. I like him in Eagle Eye. I like him in Disturbia. I like him as an actor. I know he went nutso for a while, but I think he's a good actor. It was cool to see him in this. I don't know why he wasn't the star, but this guy, Bobby Soto, he's a vacuum of charisma. There's nothing there. The plot, two enforcers, they're known as tax collectors. They go from place to place to get money. Get money for the protection racket. Hey, you owe us money. If they don't pay, threaten them, do something to them. But no matter what, get the money. For their boss who's in prison. And the boss is nicknamed the Wizard. I'm like, the Wizard, what? It's the kid from who loved video games? He grew up and went to fucking jail playing Super Mario Brothers too much, or maybe assaulted a couple cops. They can't want to go back to California. Is it that Wizard? Like, Mr. Wizard? Like the Wizard. Of all the names you give a big boss who's imprisoned, it's the Wizard. Some of the dialogue is lame. Like Shia LaBeouf is showing our lead, Bobby Soto, some pictures, and they're talking. It's like, look, at that picture, she has a carrot in her ass. You need Jesus, dog. Nah, I need more carrots. And it's weird, Shia LaBeouf acting this way, where he's like, how you doing, fool? What's it going, essay? How you doing, fool? That's something I typically think of when I think of Shia LaBeouf as the type of guy with the badass with sunglasses going, what you talking about, fool? What's going on, fool? Hey, maybe it could work if he was the focus and the star and more was done with him and his character. There's a new group that want to come in. The characters, our main characters, aren't having that. The main character's uncle, played by George Lopez, he's like, okay, we're going to get this settled. The next time our two main characters see these guys, George Lopez's fucking head is in a goddamn cooler. They say, hey, we'll bring you in. We'll get you higher up that they never did for you. Of course, our two leads are not going to betray their family. They're not going to betray who they are. So pretty much a little war breaks out. A little war where there's barely any fucking action. Either have scenes of Bobby Soto with his wife, sometimes with his kids, or before that, people they go to, this one guy who shortchanged him because his kid has leukemia, this other guy who has his game called the Bloods, which they'll be utilized later. That's why this entire scene's in it, where this one guy's kidnapped and beaten up and they get him back only to set up the Bloods, because again, they'll be used later. While Bobby Soto's off doing his own fucking thing, there's a little shootout where Shia LaBeouf's buddies get killed. Shia LaBeouf gets shot. He gets taken. And then through phone, the lead guy is shown that Shia LaBeouf's character is tortured, killed, and his head smashed in by a foot. The bad guy just stomps literal mud hole at Shia LaBeouf's head. So I guess if you really hate Shia LaBeouf and you want to see someone stomp a mud hole literally into his face, I guess this is the movie for you. But I like Shia LaBeouf. And again, for the first like hour, 50 minutes, he's in it, but he doesn't really have much to do. He's mainly in the background, or he's talking with the lead guy, or he talks about, hey, you're lucky, man, you got a family, you got kids. But really, for the first hour, really not much happens. Everything I described is the first hour. Again, it makes it look like it'd be this cool action film, or maybe a film in the vein of Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, or maybe not, just nothing to it. Again, they have M16s. I'm looking on the poster. It's not even in the fucking movie. And it seems like Shia LaBeouf, they built him like he's this badass. He's going to do some damage. He doesn't. Some people early on are afraid of him, but then I'm like, why? Because during the shootout, he gets a couple people. Then he gets shot. Then he gets taken, tortured, then killed. And then I'm left with this boring ass Bobby Soto. What's the name of his character? David? I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. I haven't seen Bobby Soto in anything else. No wonder. I wonder why. Then the third act, he gets his wife and kids. Bobby Soto puts him in protection. Then he goes somewhere else to get some stuff and some money. He comes back. His wife is dead. His kids are taken. He gets some help from the Bloods. The main one being... oh, I forgot who the hell his name was. I forgot what the hell the actor's name was. Him and some of the Bloods. The character Bone, leading member and shot caller of the Blood Street Gang. Clay Shahid Sloan. He was fine. I didn't mind him. He's like, hey, we're going to go with this guy because he helped me out before, and this guy took the guy's kids and family's family. He was actually in Street Team, apparently. He was in... oh, he was in Training Day, Tears of the Sun, and small roles. He was in a small role in the Replacement Killers, small role in End of Watch. He played, OG Mike in Bright. He wasn't bad in the film. Then they break in this one place. There's a bit of slow-mo shootout. Remember the scene, if you've seen Bright, where Will Smith shoots his dirty cops buddies but they're not his buddies. They're dirty cops. And you have that slow motion, and it's done like stylistically. He kind of, the director does that here. I'm like, it's too little too late. Whatever. They get the kids, and then the Bone and the lead guy go off. Bone stabs this one bitch who works with the bad guys. The lead guy chokes one because he's hanging off the railings, choking the guy. The Bobby Soto fights the bad guy in the bathroom, kills him with a sink. Must have been a big fan of Batman v Superman, learning Batman tricks, hitting people with sinks. And then it just ends with he makes a phone call to the boss in prison, and ooh, spoiler or surprise, it's his dad. That's who the boss. I'm like, I knew that's who it was. I already figured that was his dad. I don't know why. Just like, well, let me guess, it's his dad, right? And it is. It's played by Jimmy Smits. I'm like, wait a minute, you had Jimmy Smits in this nothing role? Once in a while you hear his voice, and then you see him at the very end calling, talking from prison. Ah, yes. I wanted to see if you had it in you. You are now the king. We're a lot alike. Meaning that he had never told his son that he loved him because I didn't know who you were. Now I know who you are. I don't want this. It wants you. That's pretty much what the fucking story is. And this is barely a fucking story. Literally, this movie could be told in 45 minutes, let alone 90 minutes. Again, really not much of anything happens in the first hour. If you're going there for action, there's barely any action. Hell, if you're going there for Shia LaBeouf, which I liked him, it feels like he's barely in it for the first hour, and then nothing really happens with his character, as in he doesn't do much. Then he gets killed. Then with this guy who, I'm sorry, Bobby Soto, doesn't have charm, doesn't have charisma, he's bland. Is he the worst actor? No, he's just very, very bland. It says here, Shia LaBeouf plays Creeper, at times killing and dismembering rival gang members without compunction. We don't fucking see that. I guess that's... I got more of that reading on Wikipedia than I did watching the movie. I got more about Shia LaBeouf's character than I did in the movie, just from reading that bit on Wikipedia. Like, the movie is shot like it's a direct-to-video film. This film was supposed to go in theaters, or it did go in theaters? Is that what happened? For rent. It says it was for rent. It was in 129 theaters. So no, it didn't go much into theaters, mainly for renting. Probably because of what's going on in today's age. But this didn't deserve to go on in theaters. It looks like a straight-to-video film. I'm sorry, there's just really not much to this. There's not much to the film. Not much to the lead character. Lead character is boring and bland. There's barely any action. The trailer, if it makes it look like an action movie, I lied. The flick, it's so inconsequential, so by the numbers, so bleh and meh. I'm probably going to forget this film when I do my worst list of the year, because this came out 2020 and it's on the list. Quote Chris Jericho, you're on the list. Yeah, it's just such a bland, forgettable movie. Interesting to see George Lopez. He has a couple scenes. Interesting to see Jimmy Smits, but he's in it. You hear his voice a couple times, then the last scene. Shia LaBeouf could have been interesting if he was the lead, he was the star, if it was only him and him dealing with this. And maybe people like, oh, they don't like him because he's white and he's not Latino, so he's an outsider, but he's been raised as this family, so they look at him as a son and a brother, but other people don't respect him, so maybe he's got a chip on his shoulder, so he's a badass and doing this and that. It's like, wow, this Chico, he's doing well, he's doing okay, I respect him because he follows his family, he doesn't betray people, he's a badass. Like, the tax collector, which is weird because the title seems like the fucking biography of IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. For those who remember WWF back in the day, the biography of Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, it's the tax collector. So this movie fucking sucked. There's barely any action. Go watch End of Watch. Training Day at least has a lot more solid in its story and its acting, like the character-wise, Denzel and Ethan Hawke. Go watch Bright. Bright is a fun film. Bright felt like a film that to me should have been in theaters. This film, no. I mean, go Street Teens, Bright, I think are two of his best ones. Training Day, he just wrote. He didn't direct, to be fair. He wrote it. Someone else directed it. But yeah, Street Teens, End of Watch, Fear I Didn't Mind, Bright. I'll give him that. Suicide Squad was... I put Suicide Squad above this. Sabotage I still think is worse because it was a waste of Arnold Schwarzenegger's time. That's more offensive than anything in this movie. This movie is just lame. I'm sorry, this is lame. So thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.